Hey agents, welcome back. I'm sure you caught Ubisoft's reveal of the Battle for Brooklyn DLC for The Division 2. That 11-minute announcement gave us a lot to chew on, and honestly, it looks like we're getting some solid value for a reasonable price. Don't let the size fool you. This DLC brings new elements that'll shake up gameplay in a big way. Today, I want to break it down thoughtfully, focusing on the tactical challenges in Brooklyn and how they'll impact our strategies in combat. We'll also look at the new items from a PvE perspective and see how they change the way we tackle the enemy's upgraded capabilities. Let's get into it. First off, the devs say Battle for Brooklyn offers 6 to 10 hours of new story content, set in Brooklyn Heights and an area called Dumbo, short for Down Under the Manhattan Bridge Overpass, a nickname artists gave the neighborhood back in the 1970s. If you played Division 1, this'll feel nostalgic, with a beautiful autumn vibe that swaps out the icy winter of the original game. Survivors are rebuilding after a major hurricane, and the detailed aesthetic really brings that to life. You'll need to fast travel to get there, even from New York, since the Brooklyn Bridge was destroyed in the Warlords of New York expansion. The Manhattan Bridge is still standing, so I'm curious to see what's on the other side. This DLC introduces a new skill and an exotic mask, both designed to help us deal with the factions fighting over Brooklyn. The cleaners are back with a devastating new trick up their sleeve, and the devs hinted that the Rikers have surprises in store too. Let's unpack what that means for us and our teams as we take on these enemies. The biggest standout from the announcement is the Cleaner's Purple Flame, a new threat that adds an extra layer of danger. On top of their usual fire attacks, this purple flame brings a corrosion effect that reduces your maximum armor. The longer you're exposed, the lower your armor cap gets, and even if you heal or use armor kits, you can't go above that new shrunken maximum. That cap keeps dropping the more you fight cleaners with this weapon, which means we'll need to rethink how we play. If you're someone who loves solo play and focuses heavily on weapon damage over survivability, what we often call an all-red build, you might struggle. This DLC is pushing us to play more flexibly, work as a team, and get creative in combat. Now, the Purple Flame feels familiar if you've played some of the tougher missions in the game. In the Merit Estate incursion, there were containers that exploded and spread purple corrosive material on the ground. It did serious damage if you stepped in it. That's likely the same stuff the cleaners have now turned into a weapon. It also reminds me of a skill that we can unlock at the base of operations. The Oxidizer, which is a version of the Chem Launcher. It fires a purple cloud of corrosive chemicals that lingers, eating away at enemy armor and health, and can even destroy their gadgets like turrets or drones. It's great for flushing enemies out of cover or controlling areas where they spawn. If the Purple Flame works similarly, cover alone might not be enough to protect us. Gear that boosts hazard protection, which helps against effects like burn or bleed, might reduce the fire damage, but it's unclear how much it'll help against corrosion. We might need to rely on armor, healing, and smart use of cover to survive. For those of us who like to rush in and take enemies head-on, this could be a tough adjustment. Division 2 has always been a cover-based shooter. Enemies already try to flush us out with grenades, rushers, or explosive drones. But the Purple Flame takes that challenge to another level. Next, let's talk about the new exotic mask, the Catalyst, which seems designed to help us fight the cleaners. The announcement gave us a partial reveal, but there's still plenty to dig into. Its core attribute is weapon damage, and its talent, called Chemical Agent, has 3 parts. The first is Catalysis. Dealing or receiving effects like burn, bleed, shock, or poison builds up to 12 stacks. Each stack gives you a 2% boost to weapon damage, and a 2% boost to effects you deal to enemies. So at max stacks, that's a 24% increase to both. That looks very interesting. I covered the importance of establishing a strong foundation of weapon damage in a Build System Series module called Deadlier Weapon Damage. A link to that video is in the description section. In that, I emphasized that if you have a small base, then any multiplicative or amplification math has only a small amount to work with. Compare that to a broader foundation. Now there is more to multiply. Even if you don't multiply by as high a percentage as the first scenario, you get much more magnified results. So imagine the potential. That's why this weapon damage buff from the Catalyst Mask is very appealing. Let's continue with the talent breakdown. Enemies have to be within 25 meters for stacks to build. And you get double the stacks if you yourself are affected. This buff, or temporary bonus, is really nice. It makes me think of ways to create status effects to buff my weapon damage to help me take out enemies. There's certainly potential to explore. But, as with all good buffs in Division 2, nothing lasts forever. The stacks you've generated in combat will eventually fade. The second part is reactant. At max stacks, killing an enemy under status effects gives you 25% bonus armor and 20% faster reload speed for 5 seconds. This bonus armor can help you stay in the fight, and the faster reload speed improves overall DPS, or damage per second, as some enemies will require more than one magazine of ammo to take down. Note that it generically refers to status affected. This isn't limited to fighting fire with fire. You can bring other forms of status effects, which can include bleed, shock, disorient, and blind. I'm curious what you'll bring into your own combat situations. Also, what's interesting here is balancing survivability, lethality, and being able to produce status effects to trigger both catalysis and reactant. I say this because it feels to me that a traditional red build with only crits might be like bringing a water pistol to a firefight. So, what weapons should we bring to create status effects? Great question. Before we cover that, what's interesting is there is a third part to the chemical agent talent. Right here. We barely see it. It's called Stabilizer. The devs didn't scroll down further in this reveal announcement, so when that information becomes available, I'll put some notes in the description section of the video for you to read. I'd like to cover the new skill Battle of Brooklyn offers, but I can't help myself getting into some tactical details first. There is a strong theme here, and I'm curious if you picked up on it. Weapon-based bullet damage is important, but there's an additional layer of status effects to achieve buffs and increase power. Here's where it gets interesting for the veterans out there. This mechanic feels a lot like the Ongoing Directive gear set. For those who might not know, Ongoing Directive amplifies weapon damage significantly, provided you wear 4 of its kind. Its bonus grants hollow point ammo that amplifies weapon damage that also applies bleed to enemies. You'll notice a cycle to this process. You first apply any status effect to enemies. Shooting affected enemies marks them. Any enemy killed by you or your team grants the team hollow point ammo. And so long as you have hollow point, you have the means to apply bleed and amplified weapon damage and repeat the process over and over again. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Doesn't this cycle remind you a lot of the Catalyst's chemical agent talent? Using the ongoing gear set with the exotic mask could be a powerful combo. With the Catalyst mask, you begin the cycle by dealing or receiving status effects. The hollow point ammo generated from kills with Ongoing Directive can certainly deal bleed while amplifying weapon damage. By building stacks, you gain more weapon damage and status effects through catalysis. At max stacks, you then kill status-affected enemies. That gives you a significant temporary boost of bonus armor and reload speed. Using the Ongoing Directive's bonus of hollow point ammo helps you start the cycle again. But wait, there's more. Bring the Carnage named LMG and a backpack sporting the Wicked talent into the fight. The Carnage LMG talent provides amplified weapon damage, which is just too good to ignore. Despite the description using the word increases, community research has verified that this is amplified weapon damage. You are a powerhouse with these and the Catalyst mask in your Ongoing Directive loadout. You're gaining bonus armor and reload speed more efficiently while providing your team with an ongoing supply of hollow point. They will absolutely love you for that. The cycle we just saw in the previous section perpetuates bonus weapon damage, bonus status effects, and, if you're using Ongoing Directive, amplified power as well. As you've read in the mask's description, the chemical agent talent requires a status effect to initiate it. Division 2 certainly provides gear and skills that can do that. Alternatively, certain weapons can produce status effects to activate the talent of the mask. Here are just 3 examples. I'll cover them very briefly. Feel free to pause the video to read the descriptions. The first is my favorite, the St. Elmo's engine, a 70-round exotic assault rifle with very decent handling. With its talent, sufficient stacks can produce shock ammo. Next, we have Iron Lung, an 85-round LMG. With its talent, shooting fills up a heat meter that, when full, ignites enemies. Last but not least, we have the Scorpio, a favorite among the Division 2 community. This beauty can inflict poison, disorient, and shock. And it's superb for close engagement when cleaners and Rikers rush your cover position. A question that comes up in the player community is, which is the best weapon? No pun intended, but that's a loaded question. In short, you have to consider your strategic objective, the overall loadout and equipment you'll need to accomplish the job, and if the weapon supports your choices. Each of these has its advantages and disadvantages. If you use Ongoing Directive, its hollow point ammo will cause enemies to bleed. The Carnage LMG doesn't create status effects, yet it's a perfect complement when used to kill bleeding enemies. I'm eager to learn your thoughts and the weapons you will use. Let me know in the comments section. To help us deal with the purple flame and whatever the Rikers are bringing, we've got a new skill, Smart Cover, with 2 variants, Fortified and Precision. Let's break them down. Fortified Smart Cover fires a projectile that drills into a surface, reinforcing nearby cover for all agents using it. Note that the wording here is covers in plural form. Based on this, Fortified Smart Cover benefits not just you, but also those behind their respective covers within your radius. At a bare minimum, it gives 50% bonus armor, 5% resistance to explosions and enemy pulse scans, and immunity to being staggered, with a radius of 8 meters. It gets better with skill tier. At skill tier 1, it provides 10% more bonus armor, 10% more resistance to explosions and scans, and 70% more health. The devs didn't show more, but I'm already salivating. Whereas Fortified Cover is ideal for defense, Precision Smart Cover, on the other hand, focuses on offense. At a bare minimum, it provides 15% weapon handling and 10% damage to targets out of cover. For those of you newer to the game, weapon handling improves your accuracy, stability, weapon swap, and reloading speeds, helping you to make your bullets count and send rounds at the enemy efficiently. Damage to targets out of cover is a coveted multiplier in the Division 2 community. It's a powerful bonus, which makes the Fox's Prayer knee pads a must-have. Here's an example of it on an assault rifle. Damage to targets out of cover applies when you shoot at any enemy that's not in cover. Be sure you roll your weapons with it in conjunction with any necessary talents to give you great bonuses. Also, the Demolitionist specialization provides it to you and your team. It's here in the specialization tree. This gives damage to targets out of cover to your team. When you sum up these instances of damage to targets out of cover, and if you already have a robust overall weapon damage foundation, the multiplicative output will put a smile on your face. Okay, back to Precision Smart Cover. Let's see what we get at skill tier 1. Wow, get this. It boosts weapon handling by 25%, adds an additional 10% damage to targets out of cover, and plus 70% health. I can only imagine the stats for the higher tiers. Based on the description at the top, all these bonuses apply to you and your team. There's a lot to reflect on. Whether you use the Fortified or Precision variant, an agent at skill tier 6 can help their team significantly. I'm looking forward to using this outside of Brooklyn. There may be legendary missions where Smart Cover can profoundly turn the tide. I hope that Smart Cover will make a profound difference for you and your team. Legendaries are brutal. Smart Cover can contribute to your team's strategies to work integratively, creatively, and innovatively. You are an awesome agent if you've made it this far in this video. Totally. This is my longest video to date. One of my favorite things about Division 2 is the intellectual engagement. For me, It's a rewarding experience to talk the game mechanics with friends after a raid or legendary when we've played late past midnight and our brains are totally fried. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Before I let you go, I thought you might find this funny. As I was thinking of weapons that help with status effect situations, and there are quite a few, there was one in particular I never took seriously. It looks like a toy, and it does absolutely no damage. Players generally use it to annoy each other or pretend they're peeing on a teammate. It's this named wonder called the cooler. Given that we're going to face a lot of fire in Battle for Brooklyn, I thought this weapon could be seen in a practical light. With just one stack, peeing on an ally gives that agent plus 50% hazard protection. If you and your team come under a lot of burning fire, could this silly soaker keep your team from overtaxing your restorer hive? You can laugh all you want, but I can't help but wonder if this will become the next Scorpio shotgun or capacitor assault rifle for the challenges we'll find in Battle for Brooklyn. This wraps my tactical analysis and takeaway of the April 23rd, 2025 announcement by Massive Entertainment. Battle for Brooklyn looks like a great expansion of Division lore. I'm looking forward to walking the streets of Brooklyn Heights and Dumbo and seeing the beautiful environment and fall season. Let me know how you're planning to get ready for Brooklyn. I'd love to hear your strategies. Maybe I'll see you there. Until then, stay strong, stay unburned, and stay dangerous.